Hello, students. This is Sean Teacher, welcoming you back to another discussion on an artist that I think you're really going to have fun with today. His name is Giuseppe Arcimboldo. So let's hitch up and go see what Giuseppe's all about. Okay. Here you see a picture of Giuseppe Arcimboldo. And I know his name might be a little difficult to pronounce, but I'll say it one more time. Arcimboldo. And he was born in 1527. He lived until 1593 in a period known as the High Renaissance. And this is probably when the Renaissance artists were at their greatest. So he had a lot of competition. And because of that competition, it caused him to do several things that weren't expected. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment. You should know that he didn't originally start as a painter. He originally started as a stained glass window designer. So you know those pretty windows that are inside churches? That's what he did. He made beautiful windows for churches, and eventually he got out of that and got into painting. So let's see one of his paintings, shall we? Now, here is what he could do. And this is a portrait of the Holy Roman Emperor Maximilian II of Austria. And he served as a court painter in Prague. It's what's now the Czech Republic. People call it Czechoslovakia just a few years ago, but it's now the Czech Republic. And during that time, he was employed by the royal family to paint, and as were many other artists. And his work was popular, but he became more popular for a certain kind of style. And we're going to see in a second. Wait a second. Is that man made out of vegetables? Yep, he sure is. It's a portrait of a person made out of vegetables. And if you look hard, you can see a potato and a cucumber and some wheat, some plums. There's some fruits in there too. There's a garlic in there. Yeah, and I guess this might be a lady. But this is his characterization of the season of summer. He thought this is what summer looked like in vegetables. So, yeah, this is a portrait of a person he calls Summer. And he did one of each season. I think I found three of them. I'm not sure. We'll see in a moment. But you can see that he has a totally different style from what most people would think of as, a classical artist. So let's look at the next one. Yes, here's autumn. And you can see a pumpkin up there and some grapes. That's when we harvest grapes. And you can see some other fruits that are picked during autumn. An interesting thing about Arcimboldo's work is that when people would look at his artwork, like for instance, if you walked into the room, you might not notice it immediately because if at a distance it looks like a person's portrait. And you have to walk up to it fairly close to realize it's this sort of mass of fruits and vegetables that's made to look like a person. And there's a certain word for this we're going to talk about in just a moment. But I want you to just look at a few of these first. So let's see if we can see another one. Oh, here's winter. And he made winter look like a bunch of dried out tree roots for some reason. That was his imagination of what winter would look like. Sort of dried up old tree. Now here's something he calls air. And air is just made out of birds. If you look, you can see just about every bird known to man in there. Some chickens and some peacocks and parrots. There's everything's in there, and it's interesting. He did the elements like he did the seasons. So here's air. And fire, which fire is kind of interesting. If you look at fire's body, it's kind of made out of guns and cannons. And then the neck is sort of candles. And then if you go even higher, you see these sort of burning embers for the fire. It's pretty cool. I like this one a lot, actually. And here's one he calls Earth, which looks like a bunch of animals. Um, you look around and you see just about all manner of animals in there. And that's another sort of fun thing to do with Arcimboldo's work, is to kind of look at all the things that are in there. The one that you're going to see for water in just a minute is just full of stuff that, you wouldn't normally easily recognize. So just take a moment and look and see if you can recognize some of the different animals you see in there. I see like a lion, and I see a sheep, and I see a horse, and a cow, and an elephant. There's a bear. There's all kinds of animals in there. So I think that's kind of part of the fun of looking at his work. Yes, here's the one they call water. And it's fun because it's just full of fish. All kinds of fish. Crabs and seashells and octopuses. And well, it's very interesting, though, that I don't know if you know this, as to where pearls come from. Pearls come from the inside of oysters. And this person is wearing a pearl necklace and pearl earrings. So that would seem quite natural that they would have that sort of jewelry, from the ocean. Anyway, this is water. And this one's called Fruit Basket. And it kind of looks like a guy sitting there, sort of looking at you. It's funny. You can see his eyes and everything. And I'm going to sort of try to show you how smart Arcimboldo was. And I'm not going to tell you how I'm going to do that, but I think you'll figure it out in just a moment. But just look at this sort of thing. If you can imagine how it kind of looks like a person, but at the same time, it's just a basket of fruit. And he kind of uses the basket as a hat, which is sort of an interesting little thing that he's done there. Look at this next picture. So you see on the left that same picture. And if you look on the right, it's a picture of a real basket of fruit. Oh, but wait. Look carefully. That real basket of fruit on the right is just the painting on the left flipped upside down. So that's how smart he was. If you were to turn this painting upside down, you wouldn't know that it was, sort of a riddle. That someone's organized to look like a person's face. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in the next picture. But I just want you to kind of look at it and say, wow, if that were turned upside down, I would have never known that that looked like a person. Okay, so this is our last picture that we're going to see. And his boss, Rudolf II, the Holy Roman Emperor, absolutely loved his Arcimboldo portrait of himself. I don't know if everybody would like having this done to them, but this was Arcimboldo's portrait of the king, basically, and he loved it. This thing that he's done, making things look like people, it's a lot like when you go outside and look at the clouds and maybe you see an elephant, or maybe you see a car, or maybe you see a giant ice cream cone, but it's still a cloud. And that idea where we take natural things and look at them and our mind turns them into something else. And in this case, Arcimboldo's helping us out a lot by, composing it for us. But it's called pareidolia. And pareidolia is this sort of ability for our minds to make things look like other things that we recognize. Anyway, what did you think of that? Is that interesting? I hope you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think. Okay, bye.